Hi, I'm Bridget.
Hey, I'm Sandy.
How you doing today?
I'm okay. I'm a little bit overwhelmed. Um,
Okay. So tell me a little bit more about that.
well, I called because I'm kind of struggling to keep up with my life.
Okay.
My boyfriend and I, we just broke up about 2 weeks ago, and it's just been like a
Okay.
little bit overwhelming for me.
That's stressful, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So tell me a little bit more about what happened with that.
Well, right now I'm in school full time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
What are you studying?
I'm going to get my
Okay.
MBA.
A lot of work though.
Yeah, it's been a lot. I'm 2 semesters away from graduating, so that's kind of keeping me going.
Mhm.
Something to look forward to in the near future. But I'm also working part time as a receptionist.
Okay.
And so yeah, I feel like I've had a lot going on lately, but the breakup was a little bit stressful.
I can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So tell me a little bit more about the breakup. Did you just tell him that you didn't have enough time or?
No, he broke up with me.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so I wasn't really seeing that one coming, but
Okay, so you weren't expecting it?
mm-mm.
Okay. So how did that come about?
He actually broke up with me like over a text message.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's very abrupt.
Yeah.
Not really a good behavior on his
No,
part.
a little embarrassing too that he broke up with me over the phone.
Yeah. Okay, so what did he say or?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you want to hear it, sadly, stuff I received. I
Okay, yeah, sure.
yes, text message said literally said, Sandy, I understand that you are busy. You don't have time for us at all. You keep saying things will change and they never do. The least you could do is call me once in a while. I'm sorry to say this in text, but I think I need to move on.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
So what came to your mind after reading that message? How did you feel?
I guess when I read it, I honestly I felt like a failure,
Oh,
like a bad girlfriend.
that's some pretty negative thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how did that make you feel? Like just hurt or sad
I mean,
or?
I'm already a little bit stressed, but it just kind of felt like I'm not good enough. Yeah, of course I felt hurt. It just came out of nowhere, and I'm pretty stressed about it.
Yeah, I can understand that. So that sounds like a pretty negative thought that you had, that you're a failure. Um, do you feel like a failure often?
When things tend to go wrong, I do. I tend to blame myself in a lot of things.
Okay, so that's where your brain tends to go.
Mm-hmm.
Makes you feel kind of bad.
Yeah.
So, but you're actually doing quite a lot. You know, you're going to school full time, you're working, which is a lot, for anybody to handle. And are you doing well in school? Are you relatively successful?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good at school.
Yeah. So you're a failure, but you're on the other hand, you're maintaining a job and you're maintaining a high GPA in school.
Yeah, well, I guess I'm a failure at being a girlfriend.
Oh, don't look at it that way. So a lot of times we have these kind of irrational thoughts that come to mind when something bad happens. I'm a failure. This is my fault. Someone doesn't like me because I'm a bad person. And these thoughts tend to be irrational and they lead to these feelings of anxiety and stress and things like that. So one of the things that I like to address, it's a form called of therapy called rational emotive behavior therapy or REBT, but it specifically addresses these kind of negative beliefs that we have about ourselves and these negative emotions that come from these beliefs. So we use what's called an ABC model, which basically outlines just like how the ABCs, one thing comes right after the other, the same kind of way. So in this case, the A in this event is the activating event, which is the text message that you received, your boyfriend breaking up with you. This irrational thought that comes into mind is, I'm a bad girlfriend, I'm a failure. and as a result see the consequence, you feel bad. So as you can see, a lot of times this model can be applied to other events in our life. So what I'd like to do with you is kind of help you challenge and help you navigate these irrational beliefs, so that way you can see if this event were to happen to you again, you can challenge these beliefs on your own through your own means of dealing with them. So what are some of your goals? I know that you want to go to school, get your MBA, right?
Yeah.
Would you say that's like your main goal right now?
Honestly, I've come so far, like putting everything I have into the school. Like I really want to get done school for sure. I really want to graduate. I'm so close, but I still feel so far away.
Yeah, I understand that completely. So, and is this job, causing you a lot of stress, or is this more of a job that you want to hold on to help you, support yourself through school?
Yeah. I mean, just kind of like the way that my life financially is laid out, I definitely need to be working while I'm going to school. Like I can't afford not to be working
Yeah.
right now. A little bit stressful. It's a part-time job, but it's kind of one of those jobs where someone calls out and then I get stuck going in. So I'm spending like more hours there than I would like, but I mean, I don't mind the job. I do. It's fine. It's suitable for right now. So I guess I do want to keep the job. It wouldn't make sense to find something else. Hopefully once I graduate, I'll get something.
Yeah, get something a lot better.
Yeah, a little more suitable to my degree. I just think the time that it would take to find another job and be out of work for how long and go through training and stuff, I would say that it would be much easier to stay with this job.
Okay, so it sounds like what you're looking for is better ways to cope with and manage that stress, just to keep you kind of in a maintenance while you're working on this degree, so you're not, so you find new ways to help you kind of cope with this stress. Am I correct?
Yeah,
Okay. So, what do you do now to help you deal with this stress? Do you maybe go out with your friends? Do you exercise? What are you doing now to help you manage?
well, not really managing my stress while I'm at
No.
school, I wouldn't say. Um, Honestly, my biggest outlet would probably be like well, embarrassing. Like I'm on my phone and Facebook, like I can kind of mindlessly scroll through Facebook for, I want to say like a half hour, but sometimes it's an hour, it's a two, and just kind of get lost down this rabbit hole where I'm kind of just detaching from my daily life, it feels like, but
I'm just going to the lives of other people, yeah.
that's pretty much my stress.
Yeah. Well, I can relate to that. Sometimes it's really easy to just lose track of time when you're on your phone or on the computer, and it can be a little distracting. Do you exercise at all? No.
No, I used to a lot in, I guess I would even say my like undergrad, like a few years ago, I was doing it pretty continuously. But it would be a far stretch to say that I'm currently exercising.
So when you were in undergrad, do you feel like it helped you?
Yeah, I almost felt like when I was exercising, I had more energy and I was
Okay.
almost like, I don't know if it makes sense, like more focused in school.
Yeah, yeah. Exercise does have a lot of benefits, not only physically, but also mentally. It helps you kind of get those chemicals, that adrenaline and those good feeling chemicals into your body. And, it would definitely be something I think that could help in terms of managing your stress effectively. Maybe you could take that, that 1 hour you're on Facebook, maybe go join a class or something.
Yeah, I mean, just thinking about it in the past, like, I mean, I always felt better when I went out and exercised. I don't really ever feel good about myself when after I'm done Facebooking, if you will, but I guess my phone is just a little bit easier. It's convenient and it's there and I lose track of time, but I'm sure it would be much more beneficial to actually utilizing that time to actively be working out.
Yeah. Do you have much of a social, like, do you go out with your friends on the weekend, or do you have friends outside of school or work?
Not really. Like I feel like I'm so busy right now too. Like I just don't have
Yeah.
So no, I don't really do too many social activities or have a lot of friends right now.
Okay. So I think one good suggestion, and I know you don't want to hear the word homework, being a grad student and everything, but I do think that maybe an assignment for you before we meet would be to kind of go out and research like a group exercise class. That way, not only are you exercising, but you're also giving yourself an opportunity to meet someone outside of work and school. That way you can, talk to somebody about something else because it seems that all that's going through your mind right now is work and school and work and school. And it sounds like you need kind of like an outlet for all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to ask you to do is just kind of, during the week, maybe do a little research, see if there's a class, in the area that interests you or something like that. And if you can, just take it once, and see if it's a good fit for you. If not, there's many other, opportunities and things like that. Try something else, So how does that sound?
That sounds good. Something that I've probably been putting off for way too long anyway. Actually, I do like group classes.
Okay.
Actually, I haven't even thought about it since you just mentioned it, but I mean, in the past, I've enjoyed them, so hopefully I still do.
Good, good. Okay, that sounds good. So I did have you fill out this form here, which is the REBT self-help form. And I did ask you to fill out the first couple sections, but the last three I wanted you to leave blank. That way we could review them together. Now this form, how did you feel filling out the form?
I was a little bit confused. I kind of thought I knew what I was asking, but I mean, it was a lot. I've never seen it before.
Yeah, it is a lot of information. It's a little confusing, lots of little boxes and stuff for you to fill in. But hopefully, once I explain it, you'll have a little bit of a better idea of how to use it. Now, I do find that it's very helpful, in particular, when we have these negative beliefs. Writing them down on paper is a good way for you to kind of look at it and say, that doesn't sound right or that looks different. And it has sections where you can actually dispute these beliefs. So I'm going to go over them with you, and then, you can take it home and maybe, if you have a different situation that stresses you out sometime when you're not here, you can fill it out and see. And it does have some suggestions written here as far as, how to answer some of these questions. So for the activating event, which we did talk a little bit about earlier, we talked about the breakup with the boyfriend. So reading that text message and kind of feeling those feelings of reading that message. So that's what you wrote for activating event, and anything can be an activating event, that kind of makes you feel bad. So whether, somebody doesn't call you back, or let's say you get a bad, grade on an exam, and because of that, you start to feel these negative emotions because of that event. So that would be an activating event. Now, for irrational beliefs, you wrote that you felt like a failure as a result of that. You also wrote that you felt that you'll never be happy, and you wrote that you felt like you're not a good girlfriend. So those are some really strong kind of negative beliefs, right?
Yeah.
So for consequences, so how did that make you feel? So you wrote down here sadness, defeat, and stress. So that definitely made you feel all those things.
Yeah, it was just, I mean, I saw the message and yeah, I mean, I felt sad and I felt like a bad girlfriend, but I also like added to the stress I was already going through, I would say that's pretty accurate to how I felt.
So can you tell me a little bit about your day? So what did you do after you read that text message?
I mean, when I read it, I woke up in the morning, so I was in bed and honestly, I felt like so paralyzed. Like I just couldn't get out of bed. It was just like a weight just got dropped on me. So I really wasn't in a good mood, and I ended up just like lingering in bed longer than I normally do. Like I just did not want to get out and start my day. But eventually I got out of bed and I made my way to class. And
well, that's a big. At least you went to class,
Yeah, but in retrospect, I probably shouldn't have bothered showing up. I was like an hour late almost, which I never do. Like I've never missed a class before. I've never come in late, and I think I actually got like points off of like my attendance grade for that. So, yeah, it wasn't a good day. I was already overwhelmed and stressed, and now I was stressed about being late in school and I wasn't concentrating in class. It was just not a good day.
Yeah, so definitely because you had some of these negative emotions, you had what's called like a self-defeating behavior. So because of these negative emotions, you ended up hindering yourself more because you chose to go to class late. And now, you have kind of this negative effect as a result of this thought, which is, I am, not a good person. I'm a failure. Now you have points deducted from your grade. So you see here how these thoughts can kind of lead to these negative events?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now what I'd like to do is fill out the rest of the form with you, and just so you can see how you can actually challenge these negative beliefs. So for your beliefs, you wrote down 3. So I want you to choose one. That way we can dispute one together, and you can see how to actually use the rest of this form.
Okay, so you're like asking me to pick one which to show that it's not true?
Yeah.
Okay, out of the 3, I'm gonna go with not a good girlfriend.
Okay. Okay. So what I'm going to ask you first is, what do you gain from believing that you're not a good girlfriend?
Um, I don't. What do I gain?
Yeah, what do you gain? Does it make you feel good
No.
that you believe you're not a good girlfriend?
Not at all. It makes me feel awful.
Yeah.
Like a failure.
Yeah. So it's definitely a belief that doesn't really do you any good.
No.
Now, when you think of a bad girlfriend, what do you imagine a bad girlfriend would be like?
I mean, I guess like the worst type of girlfriend would be like an unfaithful one.
Hmm.
That would probably qualify as a bad girlfriend.
So were you faithful to your boyfriend?
Well,
Yeah. So what else
yeah.
would be a bad girlfriend?
Well, I mean, I guess I wasn't a good girlfriend. It's like almost like I didn't have enough time for him.
Mhm.
I don't know how to explain it, but I guess I was a bad girlfriend because I didn't value his time enough or spend enough time with him almost.
Okay, so let's say that you were to, address this issue of spending time with him. So where were you going to get this time to spend with him?
Well, that's the thing. Like, I just don't have time right now. I know it sounds awful, but I'm just so busy, and it's not that I don't care for him or like don't like him. It's just that the days just go by so quickly, and I hate to say that I have to like squeeze them in, but sometimes that's how it felt, and I'm just so busy right now. I don't know if it's like the right time in my life to be in a relationship.
Mhm. So, so after discussing this, it really seems like it's not that you didn't care, it's not that you chose to be unfaithful to him, like you said. It sounds more like you just didn't, it wasn't the right time.
Yeah, yeah, it's not. I mean, maybe I'm not a bad girlfriend. It's more like I was a really busy girlfriend.
A busy girlfriend, yes. Now, does that sound a lot better than saying I'm a bad girlfriend?
Yeah, for
It does, right?
sure.
I mean, if you're busy, you're busy. That's not really a fault on your character, who you are as a person, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, I feel that you're taking the initiative to go to school and work while you're in school shows that you're a strong person. It shows that you're a resilient person, that you can handle a lot of different things going on in your life, right?
Thanks. I mean, when you look at it that way, sounds good.
Yeah. So here, for section D, you would just write different questions to challenge this belief that you're a negative girlfriend, or that you're a bad girlfriend. So when you think about these things, just write, what's the idea of a bad girlfriend? Do I really fit into this idea that I've, labeled for myself, and different things like that. Now, once you dispute the beliefs, I really like what you said. You said, I'm not a bad girlfriend, I'm a busy girlfriend. So it shows that you are taking a lot of initiative within your own life. So for rational beliefs, which is the next section, the RBs, basically this is the new belief after you've disputed it. So the rational beliefs would be, yes, I was busy, but it wasn't the right time. So when you have these better beliefs, so for example, like when you said, I'm not a bad girlfriend, I'm a busy girlfriend, what kind of feelings came about after that?
Um, Almost like it was like a relief, like it kind of made sense that I didn't have the time. sounds like
Mhm.
really awful to say, but it kind of was like a little bit of a good thing that now, I have more time to focus on myself in school.
So would you say now you're kind of viewing it as an opportunity?
I guess so, yeah.
Okay, good, good. So that's where you would write here. So for the new effect or the E, you could write that you were relieved. So let's compare. So for the new effect, which is the new emotion that you felt, you're relieved. And one of the emotions that you wrote for unhealthy was defeat. So you can see how these
Yeah,
two emotions are so different, right?
absolutely.
Yeah, so you can see how when we challenge these negative beliefs, like I'm not a good girlfriend, we replaced it and we said, okay, we're going to challenge this belief. So now we have a belief I'm a busy girlfriend, or, I am doing a lot of things to make myself a better person. Because when you're going to school, you're not going to school for him, you're going to school for you
Yeah.
to improve yourself and to make yourself more successful. So these are all things that, are very positive, not negative.
Okay. I see where you're going.
Yeah. So after filling out this form, how do you feel?
I mean, I feel better. Of course, it's a completely different view on my original like statement. Makes me feel like not so awful. It's
You're
a
really
little
not. You're not. Well, I'm glad that it was able to be such a positive experience for you. So I would like to meet with you again if that's okay. We can kind of work more on managing stress and things like that. So I will give you a couple copies of these just so you can have them. If you have any other issues that arise before our next session, you can fill them out, and bring them if you want to continue to work on these. And we also discussed, going to an exercise class or something, just trying one and then maybe seeing if you're able to fit a little bit more time for that into your life. I know you have a lot on your plate already. So I do think that that would be a good suggestion for you as well.
Okay.
Any questions?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, great. Well, it was so good to meet
Yeah, thanks,
you.
you too.
And I'll see you again next week.